Hey guys, what's up? Accmos Chinese arrows today. Update review. My first review, I looked at it and my gosh, that was a bad shot. But of course, if you've been staying tuned to the channel, we did go to the 3D Archery Club recently that I'm a member of, and we shot these arrows with my PSC Stinger 3G bow because that's the bow I have these dialed in for. These average between 520 to 529 grain. So 9 grain does absolutely zero effect on your point of impact or your windage. So don't worry about that part. They are very accurate arrows. If you've watched that video, you'll know I'm a far better shot in the last 5 months or so. Actually 6. Because 6 months ago is about when I got that Stinger. But and I've got several bows in my collection since, and I also have a hunting bow because because I'm going to be hunting for the first time in my life this year. In October, I'm going out for deer. I've had deer before, I've eaten it, I like it, so yeah, I'm going to go kill me one and throw her in the freezer, as long as I can get one. You know, it's a kind of thing like fishing. It's chance. You know, it's called dumb luck. There's no skill other than killing the thing. Yeah, that's skill. But dumb luck that it'll show up or not. But in the meantime, though, I've been shooting these things. I've shot these things literally thousands of times into targets. I've annihilated targets with these things, among other arrows too. But with that, they are extremely accurate arrows. Don't worry about it. They're fine. Now, I'm not saying you can't get some bad ones in the batch. I ordered 2 dozen in one shot a while back, and I ended up with 4 arrows that would not group no matter what you do to them. There is no way possible to fix that problem. And then I've had a few that have had either tail outage or a little bit of frontal outage or a little bit of both, and some of those could be tuned out, no problem. Others may or maybe not. It kind of varies, right? Depends on how bad it's out by. But the majority of the arrows that I've been getting out of Accmos have been absolutely spot on, spinning as concentric as our eyeball can see things. So, you know, that's a given. You're going to definitely get a lot of good arrows out of this company. And the company bends over backwards to please you. Okay, like my 4 bummed arrows. I got a hold of the seller. I said, look, this is my problem, blah, blah, blah. He said, okay. And to keep the story short, end of story was, you got a choice. I can give you your 4 arrows on your next order, and I'll add those in. No cost, of course. Or I can refund you the difference. And I said, well, you might as well do that because I am going to be changing from my norm of these to something different on my next order. So I might as well just do the refund, and I'll just order more of these when I get to it, right? And besides, I got plenty right now anyhow. But anyway, so that was all fine. The guy is really great to deal with. Great seller. Okay, couldn't ask for better. And they do a lot of custom stuff too. So if you don't see something in the list that you need or want for a specific size, because a lot of us are kind of weird. You know, some of us go for the throat of the nock to the front. Some people go from the very back to the front. And of course, the general thing with Accmos, when you just select your spine and you select size, like specific sizes, you know, like half size or regular size, they're all cut shaft to shaft at that length. So these are 28.5 shaft to shaft. That's what I picked. That's what I ordered. That's what I got. Okay. Anyways, but the weights are reasonably consistent with just small minor differences here and there. But like I said, it's not going to change your POI or your windage control. So, because it's only like a few grains, it's nothing. If it was like a 40 grain difference, yeah, now you're changing POI, and you're probably going to change your windage out a little bit too. It's going to vary, right? But anyways, so these are also a full body wrap arrow, which is what makes them so heavy too. Because if you took this wrap off, these things probably wouldn't weigh much more than probably about 380 grain, maybe, you know, 370s, 380s. So the wrap does add a lot of weight to these things, but at least it's evenly distributed weight, so it keeps the balancing point up really nice. So this way, if you wanted to add more frontal weight, like some people are really big on FOC stuff, and well, whatever, do whatever you want. If it works for you, fine. But I like the idea of having as much speed as I can get and energy at the same time. I like that balance. And these at 56 pounds of draw weight out of my bow, which has got a 314 IBO rating, these things shoot 208 feet per second at 56 pounds. And I can go to 70 with my bow. I can also go as low as 40, okay? Now, I sold some of these to a friend of mine, and his bow is set at 46 pounds, so he's got 10 pounds less. And of course, he's not getting anywhere near the same speed, because 10 pounds is a lot to drop, and which is also going to drop your speed an awful lot, too. So anyways, we haven't cronied his bow. Maybe next time he comes over. He's supposed to be over Sunday, and as long as the weather holds out, we should be good to do some shooting, because we still got to finish sighting in his bow anyway. So maybe I'll pull the crony out and crony his bow with these arrows, and maybe give you an update on what 46 pounds is like or something. Maybe, we'll see. Depends on the time we have to play. Anyhow, I think the arrows are fantastic. We've shot them at the range. I did really good on the targets that I shot at. I mean, hey, everybody has their misses too that they're gonna actually get. We did get a miss basic on a, which one was that? Yeah, that was the deer target. We actually got a miss on the deer on our one shot. How that happened, we'll never know. Probably I pulled. It happens. And we slammed one right into a rock at the other end, which is this little guy. And this has been cut back since. I split a couple of inches off of this thing, like no more. The knock was gone, the tip's gone, the friggin' insert's gone, and it was split. It's like, that hit that rock pretty hard, man. So anyway, they just goes to show, arrows do explode too, right? But otherwise, they're doing great. And I've been shooting the same 4 that are in my quiver now, except for the new one I just had to replace the other day, for quite a lot of shots. They've been through a lot. These have been through a number of shots just to make sure they were all good. Plus, they spin good. And, you know, that's how I kind of separate my arrows in categories. Like, if it spins absolutely perfect, that's a hunting arrow. If it's got a tiniest little bit of an outage to it, that's a practice arrow, right? And then if it's got too much out of it, well, it gets turned into a tent peg or something else, right? Because if it's too much that I can't knock tune it out, then there's not any point worth keeping it assembled. I might as well harvest what good parts are there, because I can only cut so much off. And if it's an outage at the tail, the only thing I can do is strip off all the veins and move them down and then cut it back. But then if I cut too much off, the arrow's no good for me anymore at a 28-inch draw. So, because at my 28-inch draw, I have all my arrows set for 28.5 shaft to shaft, because that's how the arrows work the best for me, for my setups, okay? We're all going to be different, right? Some people just want, 28 from the throat of the nock to the front, which means you get a 27.5-inch shaft to shaft, and then you have a 1/2 inch on your nock, providing you have a nock that has 1/2 inch between the base and the throat, because if you don't, guess what? You're out, okay? You're going to be shorter than you should be. And it's a big game of lengths, and people like to play with them. I'm okay with that. You do you, I do me. I'm happy, you're happy. It's all that really matters. There is a lot of science behind it that makes sense, but some people like to try and break those rules too to see, and they get whatever results they get. However, I have no problem putting these things at a 4.5 out of 5, okay? They group nice. I can get these things to now group really nice after 6 months of shooting. I am a really, really good shot now, okay? So if you looked at our first, test and review on this, I did horrible. If you look at the recent 3D target shooting, I did really good. And of course, if we do another shootout where we're just shooting at a straight old target, you're also going to find that I can stack these things pretty nice. So, they do work really, really well. So I do recommend them. I am going to try out a couple other Chinese brands. I do actually have a set here that I suspect may be from Shero Arrow. Now, maybe some of you might be able to tell me this. I'll grab one. Because they're the only company I've seen on Amazon that sells these, but I could be wrong. Now, when I got these from the pawn shop, I got 6 of them, and one of them has definitely got something wrong, because it always wants to land crooked. The rest of them land nice and straight. But these actually feel really flexible for what should be a 500, you would think. But there's no markings on these things anywhere to indicate what brand or nothing. Like even I cut these down from full length, which was I think 31 inches shaft to shaft on these. But anyways, they're now at 28.5, but there was no markings anywhere, so I have no way of identifying these other than maybe a picture on Amazon. So I'm thinking, you know, maybe these are Shero arrows, or maybe they're Top Archery. I'm gonna have to look a little bit deeper into Amazon, but if you can tell me who the heck makes these, I really doubt they're San Lita though, but you never know. Like I said, totally clueless on that one, but they do fly nice. I've been shooting them out of my 40-pound Nighthawk, and they seem to shoot nice other than just that one arrow. But I do find that the nocks are very loose. So I am going to be ripping off all these nocks because they're garbage. And I'm going to throw on some Chinese nocks, which are actually the same nocks that's on this. They're two-stager. They work really well on all my bows. So I'm going to swap them onto here and see how these arrows fire then. Maybe they'll be even better. Because, yeah, definitely have a few accuracy issues of my own with shooting traditional still. So I can't completely blame the nock. But the way the nock fits and how easy it slides off the string, that concerns me. So I do want a better nock on these. But we'll have some testing once I get these things straightened out. In the meantime, 4.5 out of 5, highly recommend them. If you do get any lemons, you know, make sure you get a hold of the seller. He will be more than happy to bend over backwards to make sure that you've got, you know, the best arrows possible. Now, these are a .006. He does also sell 003, 001, and I think he does 005. But the difference between a 5 and a 6 is nothing. But if you went 6 to 3, now that's a hell of a lot straighter, and 3 to 1 is always way straighter. Okay, but even these ones here, they roll on my spinner like dead straight. Like they're, to the naked eye, they're concentric. Okay, they're running fine. But like I said, not all of them did. Some of them were nock tunable. Others no. So that's just the way it goes. And as an FYI, before we do go, if you are going to try nock tuning by method of just turning the arrow, right, which is a form of nock tuning, you cannot do this on bows where you shoot off of a shelf or a hook rest. It will not work for you. You cannot use a fork rest on any bow to do that. And you can also not do that on a 3-brush, tri-brush rest. And there's one other rest you can't do that with that I definitely know, and that is this one by True Glow. That also will not work. The odd fletch must be up, straight up. You don't get to turn them the least because then they run to the brushes and they shoot your arrows wicked everywhere. So in other words, you have 2 rest choices on planet Earth for nock tuning by twisting, and that is going to be a drop rest on your bow or a full-on whisker biscuit. And there are whisker biscuits that will mount on even a traditional bow, provided you have a burger hole for mounting a rest, okay? And you can do that. That can be done and set up. But anyways, that's the info I have on you for that one. I've been doing a lot of experimenting, so I kind of know what's working. I've been experimenting with tons of arrow lengths, grain weights, spines. You know, I've been messing around with a few different spines, and just seeing what works and what really doesn't work with my present gear anyways, and just going from there and picking out what actually does. And right now, currently with my 2 left-handed compounds, they're both 28-inch draw. Both of those bows get 28.5-inch shaft-to-shaft cut. And I've got traditional bows that are running a 28 shaft-to-shaft and a 28.5-inch shaft-to-shaft. I'm still kind of playing with those to see where things are going to land. But anyways, in the meantime, that's our update. Stay tuned for more archery videos for the range. We're going to be going out to Trail A again soon, probably sometime next week. And we're going to take the stinger out again with these arrows and see how we do on Trail A and we'll check out some newer animals that we didn't shoot last time because we still haven't even been a quarter of the way through that trail yet. See ya.